Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger and my friends. Today we are talking about Iron Saga Versus, a new upcoming fighting game launching tomorrow as the time of this video going live, and it is a 2D mecha fighting game. Now, Iron Saga Versus is actually based off the very popular mobile game Iron Saga, which has a bunch of unique mechs and also a bunch of guest mechs from various universes and animes. So it's a bit of a mix of just like unique characters, like we have Wu Shuang here, who's kind of like Lu Bu, honestly. I don't know if that's just me, but anyways. But then we also have people, guest character if you will, like get a Robo or say Mazinger Z, right? So it's a mix of established classic mecha characters and also people from the Iron Saga mobile game. So I think this game's actually pretty interesting and there's a fair bit to talk about. So I figure in this video, let's go into it. Also, coming soon, choose a main. So you can take a look at some of my pre-launch gameplay here, and not every bit of footage in this video is from the final build, FYI. And yeah, okay, looks like a fighting game. We got big fancy supers, we got all sorts of cool moves. It's definitely a 2D fighter for sure. So before we get into it fully, like mechanics systems wise, yes, online play, yes, rollback netcode, yes, lobbies, lobby avatars, like all sorts of the anime fixins you would expect on that front at bare minimum. The game, however, just to note, is PC only for the time being. But otherwise, a lot of the base features you'd expect, of course, are here, Yes, there's combo trials, a good amount of combo trials as well, because this game has variations, they're called arsenals, but each character is effectively two different characters. And the variations are very wildly different, like completely change the character's archetype kind of different. It's not just like, here's one different move or something like that. It's a pretty big deal. And we got plenty of features. Training mode is fully functional, has everything you'd want in training mode. We have a story/arcade mode, which is very much based off the Iron Saga mobile plot, which I have no idea about personally. So it didn't make too much sense to me, honestly. But if you know, it'll probably make more sense, I guess. We got the Simulacrum Chronicle, which is a very interesting kind of like stage-based, challenge-based single-player mode. It'll ask you to do a variety of things during fights. It could be score so many points, land a combo XYZ big, like whatever it is. And it'll have multiple tiers per battle. And each tier is its own reward star. And the more stars you get, basically the more you unlock going up to the next stage, where everything gets more progressively difficult. Like sometimes the challenge could be, hey, I want you to do this very specific combo. And it'll be a combo that's not necessarily in the combo trials also. It's a different kind of combo, teaching you the characters and their various mechanics. And the more you learn, the more stars you get. You can earn various currencies to unlock in the game as well. Just everything gets more difficult, and the more difficult stuff you do, the more you unlock the ladders, and everything just progresses from there. It just gets more and more challenging. It's almost kind of like the old MK9 challenge tower in a way, I guess. It's an interesting way to do single player content just besides the usual, here's arcade mode, go from there, right? If you like building towards something, this is exactly that. So once again, basically, it has all the fixings you would expect out of a proper fighting game. It's not really missing in anything. When it comes to quality online play, we got quality online play. We got a good training mode to work with. We have a smaller roster, admittedly, it's only 12 characters, but with the arsenals, the variations, it effectively makes 24 characters as every character is very different, variation to variation. But of course, the most important part of a fighting game is the gameplay, right? So let's talk about the gameplay and some of the gameplay systems. So here we are, Iron Saga Versus. So yes, this is indeed a mech-based fighter, as is very apparent. And everyone has two variations, two arsenals that change up how they play very large. Everyone has a wide variety of different archetypes that change how they play. Get a Robo's this whole thing. He's got three variations or arsenals. They're each their own completely different character, with a completely different moveset, and you swap them mid-battle. It's nuts, right? So the movesets, the character, like all that works out pretty good. You can see here when we have our different arsenals, just select them before the battle. And Visago is actually a great example because one arsenal is a zoner and the other one is a close ranged beatdown character. Like you see here, he's got his cool little gun. He can zap people with it. In this variation specifically, arsenal specifically has like all sorts of like wide variety of elemental grenades that have all sorts of very annoying effects and just shooting you, and like dude's got some stuff. He's got some really interesting things to work with here. And of course, everyone has big cinematic supers as well. Everyone has at least two. There's a more generic stock super, and everyone has also a low health desperation super, which may change depending on which arsenal you're in. But now, okay, we'll change our arsenal. So one arsenal is armed to the teeth. The next one is limiter removed. And limiter removed, that gun, which was, we saw guns, we saw grenades, all that zoning stuff. It's gone. We still got our shield, and the shield's a pretty big part of the moveset, as he can conk you with it. But here, now the shield's the focus. He can just actively deflect stuff, right? He can tank through anything. You can basically Captain America dash through stuff. And naturally, if you got a big old shield, right? Well, like, you don't gotta respect projectiles. You can also, like, dash through them, all that kind of stuff. Or you can create your own slow shield wall and, like, kind of run behind it and pressure people. Like, you got all that kind of fun stuff. And also, there's quite a few installs in the game. This one, the limiter removed, right? And then it gets faster, better, stronger. So, like, once again, each arsenal really changes how the characters work. Like, we talk Getter Robo. He's one of the very few characters with an air dash. That's kind of a big deal. Lots of air mobility, lots of beams, very strong on projectiles. Also, very strong angled projectiles, can control really weird parts of the screen. But then, all of a sudden, you know, he can just be somebody else entirely. This is an all-new character with a completely different moveset on the fly. All-new character, completely different moveset on the fly. Now, granted, Getter Robo's a little bit more advanced than some of the other ones. Because the other ones, you pick the arsenal, then that's it. He's switching on the fly. But yeah, so there's a lot. But let's talk some of the base mechanics. So, for some of the basics here, a lot of fighting game 101, right? So, you know, we can jump. It's a 4-button game. We have light, we have medium, we have heavy. And we have our arsenal button, which will change depending on which arsenal, which variation you're in. Like the one we're in right now, I believe is called Autocracy of Gunfire. This character gets like shotgun shells, can shoot them in all sorts of fun ways with this button. There we go, Autocracy of Gunfire was right. And Lightning Overlord is the other one. The names are really good. I like the names, right? And now, same button. You know, we can consider this like A, B, C, D, right? And now D, instead of shooting shotgun shells, is like lightning pillars that I can control from like various points of the screen. And now I can like do all sorts of new moves with this button, like stuff. It changes which arsenal, which variation you're in, right? So this is a very dependent button on just what's going on, context sensitive. Besides that, most characters have hover ability. So you're not necessarily locked into the same long jump arc like you are in most fighting games. So if someone's like ready for like, you know, quick anti-air, you don't necessarily have to go into it. You can coast over the head and then hit him with a cross up on the other side, right? So air mobility is a little different for the standard. And of course, some specific characters have their own unique rules. Combo structure, if you want to call it like anything, I guess you can call it like Street Fighter, as there's more than a few ways to do like link-based combos. It's not necessarily just chain like ABC. And of course, we have our super bars, right? So the 3 bars are basically burn a bar to get an EX move or an EX only move. Many of the best moves have no base version. Like say this lightning spear toss, it is only EX only, versus say chops here. There can be a regular version or there could be an EX version. So your best moves just are exclusive to bar. And if you have 3 bars, everyone has the base level super. And that's always useful in all the ways a super move would be, right? Many characters also have unique bars. Like say Dan Kuga here, the one arsenal, he has just 4, for lack of a better term, super moves. And these effective super moves, you can use them once per go, basically. Like you use it, and then I can hit the button all I want. It's not coming back until you go through all of them. And then once you go through all of them, and they're all very strong in their own different ways, then we have a meter recharging, right? So a lot of characters have their own specific resources, their own specific meters, besides just like the more generalized supers, which of course everyone has. And they're all pretty and cool in their own ways. Like, he unloads on you, right? It's a mecha game. And there's a lot of other, you know, kind of baseline mechanics you'd find in a lot of other games, like effective parries, effective alpha counters, normal fighting game stuff, right? One of the most interesting things about this game, though, is the command dash. So that's C and D at the same time. And it doesn't replace your regular dash. Like, everyone has, like, regular dashes. You can see the animation's a little bit different. So some things out of this is, unlike the regular dash, the command dash is cancelable. So you can like just do it and go into like whatever attack or whatever move you want to do. But the real fun thing about this is, as I know everyone hates projectiles, the startup of the command dash is projectile invincible. Now it is specifically the startup. So if you do it too early, you're still going to get bopped, right? But since it's cancelable into many things out of the gate, I can see a projectile coming, do this, and then cancel, get my projectile invincibility, and then do whatever else I'm gonna do. You always have a way out thanks to projectile invulnerability of this dash. Now, if it was just that, okay, good anti-fireball for the cast, sure. But also, if you use this command dash in combos, well then, something changes big time. You might notice the whole bar went away. It said overload, right? So when you do this, it's effectively like, you can call it a Roman cancel, FADC, like whatever, right? You're canceling whatever you're doing into the dash. And it allows you to extend combos, allows you to extend special, extend whatever you want in all the ways you think would work in a fighting games. For combos or pressure, whatever. The thing that's interesting about this though, is you don't have any requirement other than don't be an overload. So if I just like hit a button and go into it, I go into it. I don't need meter to do it. Meter is not part of the deal. So you have this available to you at any time. Now, obviously when you're an overload, meter's on option. Like you can still do special moves, like, but you can't do supers. You can't do anything that takes meter, sure. And then you reset. And by the way, if you have some meter on you, right, and then you go into overload here, you do get to keep the meter. You're just locked out until it goes away and then the bar resets and then goes back, right? So in situations where like it's do or die, and especially if you're not going to get a super or if you already burned through all your meter, at any point, if you're not already an overload, this is always an option. So it's a very strong layer of offense that's almost always available to you. So that's a very unique and interesting part about this game. Another unique take in this game is the counter system. So, you know, counter hits are nothing new, right? And many characters have a move specifically keyed. If you get a counter hit, boom, the big thing happens, right? And that also in and of itself is not new. What's different in this game though, specifically, is that gold flash, besides the fact like, okay, you definitely got the hit, it means something, because if you get the big counter, the flash counter, it actually gives you a free meter. Like you can see here, I've reset. I can't use meter, so I can't use any special EX moves. But if I have this, I can go right into an EX move. It gives you a free bar no matter what. Doesn't matter if you're completely drained out. It doesn't matter what's going on. It gives you a free bar for whatever you want to use it for the duration while you're flashing gold. So this also means, say if I have a full super bar, right? I can do the flash counter, get a free EX move, and then still do my super afterwards. Yes, I burned a bar, but since it was free, I didn't actually lose any of my meter. And then I can go from there, right? So a lot of the coolest, biggest, otherwise impossible combos in this game are only going to be possible on the back of a flash counter. So I think that's a unique mechanic. Also, flash counter is both counter hit and punish counter. Like if I stuff you in the startup of your move, or if I get you when you're whiffing your move, either or, turns out. And that's Iron Saga Versus. So yo, do you like big robots just hitting each other in the face in a lot of cool and fun ways? And in a very, in my opinion anyways, a very beautiful art style. I like the art style. It's a little simplistic, but in like a sharp, clean way I really dig. And I guess if you do play the mobile game, I guess it's a no-brainer. Myself, I don't know a lot of these characters, unfortunately. I know Mazinger Z, I know Get a Robo. That is about it. But still, it's a fun fighting game. That's what this channel is all about, is fighting games. And as a fighting game, I think it's worth your time to check out at the bare minimum. Once again, as of the time of this recording, it launches tomorrow on Steam, maybe consoles later on, but Steam for now, and it's got all the fixins you can want, right? This is a proper full release. It's got everything you could hope for. So if any of this sounds interesting, hey, maybe check it out. And also, we will have a companion choose a main guide on the channel in a little bit. So we'll go over the entire cast and how everybody works if you're interested in seeing the characters. But other than that, that is the video, my friends. That is Iron Saga Versus, out tomorrow, and I think it's interesting at the very least. I like Wu Shuang, the Lubu robot. He has Lubu's Crescent Halberd. He also has effectively 100 hand slap. Yes, there is mash inputs. It's not weak like modern games. There is mash inputs. I'm a big fan of that. So if it sounds cool, hey, check it out. Otherwise, my friends, that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.